Hello friends, today's story is about three childhood friends who once buried a time capsule on an island. 20 years later, they returned to that same island, expecting nothing more than a trip down memory lane. But what happens there is something none of them could have imagined. So without wasting any time, let's begin. Our story starts with three best friends, Lara, Susie, and Gina. These three grew up together, sharing everything from secrets to dreams. Their bond was strong in childhood, but as time passed, life pulled them in different directions. Career, responsibilities, and distance slowly created space between them. Years later, Lara manages to bring everyone back together. She invites Susie and Gina for a reunion, but things are not the same anymore. There's tension in the air, especially between Susie and Gina. Susie is still hurt and angry, believing that Gina had taken away the boy she loved. It wasn't just a small misunderstanding, it was something that had left deep wounds in their friendship. The two argue fiercely. Voices rise, old emotions surface. Susie, unable to bear it, decides to leave. But Lara doesn't give up so easily. She pleads with her to stay and somehow convinces her not to go. After things calm down a little, the three of them pack their bags and set off for a place from their past, Black Rock Island. Black Rock Island is stunning. The sea sparkles, the wind is fresh, and nature seems untouched. But the island also has a dark, dangerous side that not many talk about. Still, the three friends are full of hope and memories as they arrive. They unload their bags, set up their tents, and sit down to enjoy the peaceful view. As they talk and laugh, a memory strikes Lara. She suddenly remembers something important, the time capsule they had buried there as kids. She brings it up with excitement, and for the first time, all three smile together, remembering their childhood adventure. But there's a problem. None of them can recall exactly where the capsule was buried. That's when Lara says, "Do you remember the treasure map I made back then? I think it might help us find the capsule." She opens her old backpack and pulls out a crumpled paper. It's the map. Just seeing it brings back a rush of memories. With hope in their hearts, they grab a compass and start following the directions on the map. But the journey isn't smooth. As they walk deeper into the island, another argument breaks out between Gina and Susie. This time, it's even worse. Susie says harsh things, blaming Gina for ruining everything. Not just their friendship, but their trust too. Emotions run high. Anger takes over. Lara, caught in the middle, tries to calm them down. She begs them to stop fighting, to remember why they came. But her words fall on deaf ears. Tired and heartbroken, Lara walks away from the tent and sits alone, staring at the trees, wondering if this trip was a mistake. After some time, Lara goes to talk to Gina. She tells her that maybe it would help if she apologized to Susie, but Gina is confused and upset. She says, "Why should I say sorry? Susie's boyfriend was already cheating on her. I didn't do anything wrong." Still, Lara speaks to her calmly and reminds her of their old friendship. Finally, Gina agrees to try and talk to Susie. But just as Gina goes to Susie, something strange happens. Susie suddenly looks scared. She sees three boys walking toward them. One of them is John, someone Gina knows very well. He used to live in her neighborhood. The two boys with him are Maxie and Johnny. John quickly tells them not to be afraid. He says he's a former Marine and that his friends are nice. Slowly, the group starts to relax. They all sit together, talk, and even laugh a little. It starts to feel like a fun camping trip again. That night, while they are sitting around the fire, Susie drinks too much. She becomes careless and doesn't realize what she's doing. John sees this and starts flirting with her. Lara and Gina notice and try to stop her. They tell Susie that she's not in her senses and should be careful, but she doesn't listen. She walks into the jungle with John. Deep inside the forest, things go too far. Susie and John begin getting close, but suddenly Susie sobers up a bit. She realizes what's happening and feels uncomfortable. She asks John to stop and go away, but John doesn't listen. He gets angry and tries to force himself on her. Susie fights back. In the struggle, she grabs something and hits him hard to protect herself. John falls and doesn't get up again. He dies there in the forest. Susie screams in fear. Her scream brings everyone running. When they see what happened, they are shocked. John is dead. His two friends, Maxie and Johnny, are furious. One of them rushes at the girls in anger. Johnny tries to stop him, but he doesn't listen. He attacks the girls and beats them badly. The next morning, when the girls slowly open their eyes, they realize something terrible. Their hands and feet are tied with rope. Their faces are swollen, covered with bruises and cuts from the beating they got last night. Pain runs through their bodies as they try to move. Just a little distance away, Maxie is talking to Johnny. He's full of rage. "They killed our friend," he says angrily. "We should kill them now. No more waiting." But Johnny tries to calm him down. "Last night was an accident," he says. "Susie was just trying to protect herself. She didn't mean to kill John. If we kill them now, we'll only get into bigger trouble." But Maxie doesn't care. He's too angry to listen. "I don't care what the reason was. John is dead. Someone has to pay for it. Saying this, he storms off. A few moments later, he comes back with a gun in his hand. His eyes are full of hatred as he points it at the girls. Just as he's about to pull the trigger, Susie speaks up. Her voice is calm but sharp. So, you're going to kill 3 girls who are tied up and can't even fight back? That's not revenge. That's cowardice. If you really have the guts, untie us first. Her words hit his pride like a slap. Maxie's ego takes over. Without thinking clearly, he walks up and unties them, one by one. The moment the ropes come off, the girls act fast. Gina grabs a handful of mud and throws it right into Maxie's eyes. He shouts in pain, dropping the gun. In a flash, the girls run in different directions, making it harder for him to chase any one of them. Now the island that once held their childhood memories has turned into a trap. It's vast, wild, and dangerous. Getting lost here means real danger. But Susie still has the map with her, the one they used to search for the time capsule. She clutches it tightly and follows the trail. After running for a long time, breathless and shaken, Susie reaches a familiar spot. It's the place where they had buried the time capsule all those years ago. Nearby, she spots an old wooden shelter by the shore. It looks abandoned, but it's somewhere to hide and think. After some time, Gina and Lara also reach the shelter. As soon as the 3 friends see each other, they hug tightly. They're hurt, tired, and scared. But in that moment, they feel thankful to still be alive and together. But they also know they can't stay here for long. The boys might still be searching for them, and wild animals could appear at any time. Lara suggests, let's stay here just for tonight. We'll rest, and tomorrow morning, we'll leave this island by boat. Susie and Gina agree. It sounds like a good plan. They wait for night to fall, hoping for some peace. As the sky turns dark, the 3 girls quietly make their way toward the shore. But when they reach the spot where they had tied the boat, their hearts sink. The rope is cut, and the boat is drifting far away into the sea. The waves gently carry it farther and farther, out of their reach. Their short moment of peace breaks into panic again. Susie looks at the water, then turns to the others with an idea. Why don't we swim to the boat? It's far, but we can make it if we're careful. Lara immediately says no. It's too risky, she says. The current is strong, and the boys could see us. But Gina agrees with Susie. If we don't try now, we may never get another chance. Eventually, Lara gives in. She doesn't want to leave her friends alone, so she follows them. The girls step carefully into the water, moving slowly to avoid being seen. But then, something terrible happens. Lara accidentally stands upright, and in that moment, the boys spot her. Without a second thought, they shoot. A loud bang echoes through the air. Lara screams and falls. Susie freezes. She wants to run to Lara, to help her, to hold her. But Gina grabs her arm. With tears in her eyes, she whispers, "No, you can't go. If you do, they'll shoot you too." She points towards the boat and shouts, "Go, Susie! Now!" Both girls try to hide in the water, but it's freezing. Their bodies begin to shiver. Their strength starts fading. The cold cuts through them like knives. And then, another scream. Johnny slips from a high rock and falls, crying out in pain. One of his legs breaks badly. His cries echo through the dark trees. It's their chance. But instead of swimming away, Susie and Gina do something unexpected. They return to the island, dripping wet, shaking, and breathless. They throw off their wet clothes to avoid getting sick. They huddle together in silence. Susie's eyes are full of tears. "Lara, she's gone," she whispers, broken. Gina holds her hand and says softly, "I know, but we have to stay strong. For her, we have to get off this island, no matter what." Susie was losing hope. She believed they couldn't fight trained men. Those boys were ex-Marines, strong, skilled, and dangerous. "We can't win against them," she whispered, her voice shaky. But Gina didn't agree. She looked Susie in the eye and said firmly, "We can't give up. We've already lost Lara. Are we just going to hide now?" She kept encouraging Susie, trying to awaken the fire inside her. "They are not invincible. We're not weak. We just need one chance, one reason to fight back." Slowly, the fear in Susie began turning into anger. Her hands trembled, but this time it was not fear. It was rage. They looked around for something, anything that could help them. They needed a plan, a weapon, a way out. Their eyes fell on something half buried in the dirt nearby, the time capsule. In a rush, both girls ran toward it and began digging it out. After 20 years, the box that once held their childhood memories had now become their last hope. They opened it with shaking hands. Inside, there wasn't much, just some old drawings, photos, and a small knife. Not much, but enough. It wouldn't win them a war, but it could help them survive. That night, Susie and Gina sat close, sharing the only warmth they had, each other. They spoke softly. No more blame, no more anger about the past, just understanding, forgiveness. Susie turned to Gina and whispered, "I'm sorry." Gina smiled and held her hand. "Me too. For the first time in years, they were truly together. And as the stars blinked above them, they made a promise. They would take revenge for Lara. When morning came, Susie's heart was heavy but steady. She walked along the shore, knife hidden in her hand, and saw him, Johnny. He was lying near the rocks, groaning in pain. His leg was twisted, clearly broken. He couldn't move. He was helpless. Susie stopped and stared, her fists clenched. Rage built inside her like a storm. Lara's face flashed before her eyes. Gina saw the fire return in Susie's eyes and said, "This is your moment. Do it. For Lara." Susie took a deep breath, but doubt crept into her heart. Could she really kill someone? Gina didn't let her freeze. She leaned in close and whispered, "Remember what they did to us. Remember what they did to her." That was enough. Susie's fear melted into fury. She dropped low and slowly crawled toward Johnny, her steps silent, her hands ready. But just before she reached him, Johnny's eyes snapped open. He saw her and started yelling, "Maxie! Maxie! They're here!" Panic shot through Susie. She rushed forward, trying to silence him before Maxie arrived. She raised the knife, but Johnny grabbed her wrist. His grip was like iron, unshakable. Susie struggled, trying to pull away, but he was stronger, even injured. The knife hovered in the air, just out of reach. Gina saw what was happening and sprinted toward them. She didn't hesitate. She jumped into the fight, trying to free Susie from Johnny's grip. Meanwhile, Maxie hears Johnny's voice and comes running, holding a pistol in his hand. He starts firing, but not to kill. His shots are wild, aimed to scare the girls. He doesn't want to hit Johnny by mistake. Gina, terrified, runs away into the trees, but Susie doesn't move. She's no longer afraid. She picks up the gun with steady hands, turns toward Johnny, and shoots. The bullet hits him. Johnny falls back, dead on the spot, but there's no time to breathe. Gina is still in danger. She runs as fast as she can, but the path leads her to the edge of a steep mountain cliff. She stops, trapped. Maxie follows her there, furious. His eyes burn with revenge. He lifts his gun and points it straight at her. But just then, Susie arrives. Without wasting a second, she attacks Maxie from behind. The gun goes off in the struggle, but the bullet misses. Maxie's last bullet is now wasted. Still, he doesn't give up. He quickly pulls out a knife and points it at them, shouting, "You killed my friends. You won't leave here alive." Susie and Gina face him together. They're not scared anymore. They're ready. They rush toward him, but during the fight, Gina slips on a rock and falls hard. She hits her head and lies there unconscious. Now it's just Susie. Maxie turns to her like a wild animal. He punches her, then kicks her to the ground. She tries to fight back, but he grabs a heavy stick and stabs it into her back. Susie screams in pain. Blood starts to pour, but Maxie still doesn't stop. He raises the stick again, ready to end it all. But before he can strike, Gina wakes up. She sees what's happening. With all her strength, she grabs the knife from the ground, runs toward Maxie, and slits his throat from behind. Maxie chokes, stumbles, and falls. His eyes go wide with shock before they shut forever. He dies right there. Lara's revenge is complete. The nightmare is finally over. Susie, though badly injured, hugs Gina with tears in her eyes. Both girls, wounded and weak, gather their things as quickly as they can. The first thing they do is call 911. Then they call for a boat. Soon the boat arrives and the two girls step into it. They look back one last time at the island, the same place where their story began. They had come here laughing, full of joy, as three best friends. Now only two remain. One is scarred on her back, the other has wounds on her face, but they are alive. They didn't give up. They fought back and survived. This story shows us something important. No matter how dark or dangerous the situation is, we should never lose hope. And that brings our story to an end. So friends, how did you like this story? Let us know in the comments. And to watch more thrilling movie explanations like this one, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.